Hey everybody, it's Mr. Shallert, your reading/testing nerd. I'm sorry to go all ASMR on you, but it's late at night and I don't want to wake up the family. So you'll find the link like you always do, only one quiz today, and if you're disappointed by that, run to the store now and get a life. Kidding. We're going to be talking about the second day of the SBAC today. We've been working a lot on what's called the computer adaptive test, which is multiple choice and short constructed response. You've been doing really well on that. The performance task is the long part of the test. Fewer questions, though. So don't stress about the time. Just know you have more time to answer fewer questions, but that includes writing an essay. But you can do it. Yeah, my constant question. I think they're separated at birth. I think we know who's playing the live action Naruto. So, some information, fun facts about the performance task. They're going to give you a task to complete as if you're a student in a class. Then they're going to give you 4 to 5 sources to read. In the first part, part 1, you'll answer a couple short questions and maybe fill in like a graph or a chart. And then in part 2, you'll write an essay. Don't freak out though. You're still going to use BDA before, during, and after. You're still just looking for evidence from the sources. And once you do part 1, you'll have a much easier time writing the essay. Promise. We know BDA. So this is sort of what it looks like. Well, this is taken from the test. They're going to imagine you're in an economics class. Think of it sort of like cosplay for testing. You're not in econ, but that's okay. They're going to give you their sources. They're going to tell you things that you already know, like scan the sources and the questions that follow. That's before, right? And then during it, you're going to have to find your evidence. And then you're going to write, okay? Let me just jump to the actual question for a second so you can get a better sense of it. Here we go. So you've got the setup like this. The thing you want to know is that all the sources are going to be about the same topic. In this case, it's about this idea of financial literacy, like that students like you should get more training in that in high school. So you've got source number 1. You've got source number 2. Trust me, there are 4 sources altogether. The important thing to remember is that whenever you write about a source, you don't have to quote from the title. You can just say, in source number 2, I learned blank. Now, one thing you want to get used to using, well, 2 things. You have a dictionary tool. So if you're not sure what a word means, you can look it up. But what's really important is the notes. Okay, so say for instance, let me just go in here for a second. Say I like this quote. I'm just going to randomly pull a quote. We need to teach the basics of financial literacy, blah, blah, blah. I can copy that and I can put that in my note catcher, but I better make sure I know which source it comes from, source number 3, so that when I write about it later, I can cite it. Now I can save and close it there, but remember, if you don't put it into the actual test, so say I like this quote, if you don't put it in here, you're not going to get credit. Nobody's going to look at your notes. They want to know what you wrote as your answer, okay? So let's go back to our slide deck. Yeah, like I was saying, never just sit back and read. Always be making notes, actively reading, not passively reading. You can use scratch paper too, but I think that note tool will come in really handy. Like I said, sometimes you're almost always going to have like a graph or a chart like this that you have to fill out. So make sure you read what's asking you. They want to know, hey, here's a claim. Which of these sources supports it? And then you check the box. And then you're going to have these short constructed response questions, but they're going to be real clear, like, hey, we need 2 details. Which source is the best source? You're actually going to practice on this one in your quiz today. Okay. Yeah, what else? Remember, paraphrase is when you put it in your own words. Plagiarize means don't copy it directly. So we're going to go over to answer the questions now. And let me just give you a quick preview of the quiz while some music plays in the background. There's a reason for this music. So today I'm going to ask you to do that question, which is this one. Paraphrase information. So you're going to answer it here, then you're going to copy and paste your answer in the quiz. So the band playing here is called A Tribe Called Quest, and they're doing something you all know really well, which is sampling other music. So what I want you to start to think about is that this type of question, performance task, is sampling. See, Tribe Called Quest is using a sample from a guy named Lou Reed, who's a really important musician. That's what you're doing here, right? You're sampling from different sources, putting it all together to make a new piece of music, or in this case, a new piece of writing. Think about that when you're taking the performance task, and I'll see you next.